So it's been my joy to be a part of this and to continue, because how many of y'all know where the old police headquarters at 505 West Chapel Street is? How many folks know that? Some folks, yeah. It's an ongoing effort to try and make sure that whatever the city does there has a significant amount of affordable housing. And I said there were just a couple of things I continue working on. So yes, Cynthia, I'm not going anywhere for a while. We're still working on that one. The affordable housing work and the transit work, we found take years to get something done. You'd like to get it done in 6 months. You'd like to get it done faster. It takes years, but that's why the stamina of the students is so important. Last thing is, Marcia McNally wanted to be here. She's actually on her way out of the country to Mexico for good reasons. But she wanted to say how much she has appreciated the chance to work with everybody and be part of this group and feel like she's had some impact, and she looks forward to coming back and doing the same.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for that history, those comments. It's been a great effort. You have created a great foundation on which we could operate, but operate by involving all of you and so many others. This is a collective effort to make Durham a better place and to make sure that everyone can move around the city and outside the city safely and inexpensively, and have a decent place to live. So we look forward to continuing to help with all the efforts of this group, and look forward to the leadership that Larissa and Cynthia will be providing. Thank you all so much.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for this recognition, but I don't feel like I've deserved it, because I certainly haven't functioned as any kind of chair of anything. But I started with the coalition for similar reasons that we have had, the continuation of interest and passions that I had in my working career, my paid working career. I think it's exciting to me now, and Larissa too, and she actually was the first one. She should be up here too.
It was actually Ray, Brother Ray.
Oh, Ray,
He's
yes.
in here.
Yeah, so, it's so exciting to me that, you know, we have, the old guard is kind of moving out and we are seeing younger people come in, and I think it's so important with that to carry on the history of Durham, you know, by we old people, you know, we know the old people and the old networks and the old way of doing things. But we don't want to be thrown out of the ash heap by the younger people that are coming in. But we sometimes feel like they don't really know what Durham is, and we need to knit together the old and young and carry on what is special about Durham. Yeah, let's see what
Thank you so much. Words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom. We need to keep our older, more senior, more knowledgeable people along with the rest of us that are still learning. That's a wonderful way to segue into the next part of the program. Larissa and I have taken the last month and a half to try to go back and listen to voices within the organization. We've met with people one-on-one, individually. We've met with the coordinating committee. We've met with the policy committee. And through all those efforts, we tried to come up with a proposal that we'd like to review with all of you today, of where we think the organization could benefit with some enhancements and a way to get more of them involved. Okay, so with that, I think all of you that received the announcement about this meeting also received a copy of this presentation, so don't worry if you don't have, copies of it today. The key is just listening to the overall thought process that we went through and to give us feedback. That's one of the things that we want to start doing in all of these meetings, is making sure that whatever we put out on the table, we have time for you guys to give us feedback. Okay? So Larissa and I would like to offer up that when we looked at the organization and the requests that were coming in, there were three key pillars or three key themes that everybody we spoke to kept circling around. And they've been in the surveys, but I don't know that we've ever really tried to put them on a piece of paper like this before. The first was increasing transparency within CAHT. We do a lot of things, a lot of work. But sometimes people feel that things are happening behind the scenes and they're not quite sure how we got to positions that we take to the council or other things, projects that we take on. So we want to be more transparent going forward. We also want clarity. When we come to all of you and say, this is the position that we want to take on X, do you all agree? We want to make sure that you understand what X is that we're asking your support in, because all of you, some of you are just community members like myself, but some of you are also supporters. We're not using that term members ever again. You're supporters of this organization, but some of you are also members of your own organizations that also focus on affordable housing and transit. We would like you to be able to clearly go to your organizations and say, CAHT is going to present X on this date to council, or they're going to do this project. We agree that I as your rep agree that we would support. Please disseminate this information to all of our members within your own organization. So clarity is key. And then third, collaboration. We want more volunteer participation. We know that everybody is very, very busy. I don't think there's a person in here that is probably juggling 2 or 3 things at one time. But that's the power of why we're all together. We're all together to help carry the load. And so if each one of us can just take a little piece of what we're doing, it will make the load much easier than perhaps what it's been for the few that have participated in the past. Because in all of our comments, all of the comments that I received, and I think Larissa would agree, everybody values this organization. There's not a person that we spoke to that's involved. It doesn't value being in here. It doesn't value being a part of the voices for the city of Durham around these 2 very specific topics. So we want you to feel ownership, co-ownership with us, okay? For what's going on in this room and what goes on when we leave the room, okay? And for those that are online, just because you're online doesn't mean you get off the hook. We mean also people that come in remotely to participate. We want them to be active participants when they leave, okay? So collaboration will be key. The next slide shows very specific feedback that we got from all of the team members that we met with. We got feedback that we need to increase what we do in this room when we have meetings and when we're online with our policy committee and coordinating committee meetings. We definitely need to have more voices in the room of lived experiences, people who are actually struggling with affordable housing and transit, so that when we talk about topics, we can put a face and a voice to what we're doing. Increasing our participation, which we talked about, but also increasing your knowledge. Becky mentioned it earlier. She said that the old regime has a way of doing things, the new regime, the younger people have different ways. I would say that we have different ways because we have more tools available to us, in particular technology tools. So one of the things that we want to do with this group is we want to increase our knowledge around tools. What tools we can use to help us get information out, to help us organize ourselves, and most importantly, to make sure that we're tracking what we're doing. Actually talk through 4 and 5, and then we want to recognize everybody. That's one of the things, everybody says, well, you don't have to recognize me, I do this because it's in the goodness of my heart. The goodness of your heart is eating up about 10, 15, 20 hours a month working on this. So your goodness of the heart needs to be recognized, because that's a lot of commitment. Wouldn't you all agree? Yes. Yeah, that's a lot of commitment. The next slide shows where we think we can add some clarity around the structure of what we are doing in this organization. I'm not a graphical expert. If anybody has graphics design expertise, I would welcome to help. So I apologize that this is not a very pretty chart. But basically,
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful. But basically what it's saying is that, there's 3 major subsections of what we do. One is around coordination, coordinated committee. One is around policy setting. And one is basically information sharing like what we're doing today. In the coordinated committee, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to keep that part of our committee activities focused on planning, getting emergent issues onto the table so that we can start understanding if there's a new topic, a new problem, a new situation happening in Durham that the coordinating committee can begin to understand. Is this something CAHT wants to be involved with? Is it not? Sorry, is it not? And then also looking at our progress. How are we going forward? For the policy committee, it's just as it says, policy. Once we've established as a coordinated committee that would like to bring an issue forward, we'd like to start communicating with the policy committee around, what they feel would be appropriate activities to understand what CAHT should be doing next on this item. Letters of support. This was a very debated topic when we reviewed this with the coordinating committee. The reason being is because people say, what do you mean by letters of support? CAHT support comes in different forms, right? Sometimes there's a letter that's written like with Will Gully and Marcia McNally about 505. They take it to city council on behalf of CAHT. It's emailed to CAHT, it's distributed to all the members. That is a statement of where CAHT is on that topic. That is a letter of support. Then there is showing up at a meeting, a council meeting, and giving the 2-minute speech that says CAHT wants to support this budget line item for this reason. That's another form of quote unquote support. Okay, may not be written, but it's there. And then there's just the pure, we want to talk about this. Let's email each other about this topic. And let's just start getting the word out that this is happening. So support comes in many different forms. I would suggest that for right now, let's not get hung up on that right now, because we're not going to change what we've been doing. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing. We just want to make sure that it's just documented as best as possible. And then with the general meetings, we really want to focus, as I said earlier, on bringing more people into the room that have had lived experiences around affordable housing struggles and transit struggles, or affordable housing wins and transit wins. We want to hear from our diverse community of people within Durham. We also want to, like we're doing right now, share information. And then we want to get you folks as supporters to help us with signing up. I'm willing to sign up to help on this topic. Next slide. Is it just me or is it hot in here?
It is very.
Were we supposed to do something different?
I'll check.
Okay, yeah, I know the sun is coming in and
It's in.
I just don't want to
It's
bring
here.
anybody pass out.
You said ain't no shame in my game.
Practice CPR. You might have to crack some ribs, but I'm done.
That is
Okay,
fair.
I'll try to move a little bit faster.
outside.
That's right. I'm sorry, what?
83 degrees.
Oh. I know we closed the doors, I think, because we didn't want to make a lot of noise for the rest of the church, but if we can find a way to make it cooler, that would be awesome. Okay, I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Okay, so for a new thing that we want to do for CAHT, in addition to just how we do business, is getting into more details around opportunities for volunteering within the group. Coordinating committee, a lot of people are confused. Can I come to those meetings? Can I not come to those meetings? Yes, you can come to the coordinating committee. Okay? Don't wait to be invited. If you're in this room, if you're participating in CAHT, you can't come. Okay? Policy committee, you can come, but we're still figuring out who can vote. Okay, on a policy statement and a policy score. The two people that will be handling that are Jim Savara and Mimi Kessler. They are the two co-chairs of that committee. And we're gonna use the wisdom of those two to help us figure out what we should or should not be doing, who should or should not have a voice. Right now, my understanding is everybody has a voice, but there's a concern that if you only show up for 5 minutes and then you go away for a while and you come back for 5 minutes, is that really a person that should be voting on a topic? Okay.
But I said one comment at this point. I think
Sure.
the practice has been that the policy committee makes recommendations to the coordinating committee. And I think that should continue to be the practice. So
Okay.
yes, we want complete involvement. Everybody can help contribute to those recommendations, but the final commitment should either be the coordinating committee or the supporters as a whole.
I agree. Larissa and I agree. I agree. And I know every time we talk through this, this is one of those process.
Can you repeat what you said for the people on the mic?
Oh, okay. What Jim said is that he thinks that the policy committee, when it's discussing a topic, makes a recommendation of where CAHT should be on the topic to the coordinating committee and or the general body. Okay, and I said yes, and Larissa bobbed her head up and down yes. So this is one of those process things that I would like to say is probably gonna go smooth, and it probably isn't until we can get into the rhythm of how we're doing it. But right now, it's really not much change other than one of the pieces of feedback we got from the group was when CAHT goes forward with a letter, the members, supporters want to feel that there's no surprises. Okay? They want to feel that they are well aware of what that position is going to say before it is handed to a city council member or to somebody else. The only exception to that is when we have emergency issues where there's not enough time to get to everybody. But if we have enough time, we're gonna try to change that. Okay, and make sure that everybody's aware. Go on forward. The next slide also is heavily controversial, and I'm not gonna talk through it because we just talked through it. It has to do with around voting. But basically, again, it's a process that's not gonna be much different than what we're doing now, other than we wanna make sure that all the members understand clearly and have had a voice in CAHT's position. And the question that always comes up is, what if 70% of us agree and 30% don't agree with the statement? I think we as adults can work through those types of situations when we get to them, okay? I don't think anybody should feel like Cynthia, Larissa, Jim, Mimi's gonna force anything on anybody if it's so controversial. Okay? We're not gonna do that. We're not here to become authoritarian. We're not here to become dictatorial. We're here to still be in a collaboration mode. Okay? But we do want to make sure that everybody has had a chance to voice their opinion on the topic. Okay. The next slide shows, oh, can you go back to the previous slide? I left something out. Okay, as you'll see, we have added two other additional teams besides, well, three additional teams besides the coordinating committee, the policy committee, the tech team, which is Nicole, John, Talmadge, and Ann Reback. These are the people here handling our Zoom and all the other technical activities. By the way, if you want to help them, please sign up. They are more than happy to train more people on how to do this so that you can do it in your workplace or wherever you gather with other people. But we also have three other teams. Community outreach, that one's going to be led by Larissa.
And anyone else?
Yeah.
Be a leader?
And the goal there is, we're trying to understand if we need to start maybe driving people in, picking people up, carpooling in, people with lived experiences from the community to be able to come to our meetings and have them actually get here without worrying about transportation. What exactly is? It's basically people who are out in the community who have an interest in wanting to participate in this, but they can't because either they don't have the transportation or it's an awkward time for them. We've been told these meetings during the daytime are a little bit awkward for people to attend. So if we could do some different things in terms of community, get word out to more people. We'd like to do that. We'd like to get more participation. Yes.
I agree with you. But the problem that I foresee when we look at community people in here and have a lot of raging
They have a lot of,
going on about things that are not happening in the community. So I think in order to start the community outreach, there should be a separate group to teach them about what's going on. Let them air out their differences there instead of bringing them to this meeting. And we spend a lot of time hearing people's complaints and not what the community is about. I think it's an excellent idea. I would want that to happen here. But I think it's going to have to be, we're going to have to think through how we can reach the people that need to be in here, to let them voice their opinion without getting all their frustration and anger about that. Having the work for hours.
and your name is
I'm reading that name.
Rita?
Yeah.
Rita, I haven't had a chance to meet you, so that's the reason why I asked. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Can I ask that you talk with Larissa about this concern? Okay, not that I'm dismissing it,
Yeah.
but she is truly the person that is the lead. I don't have this type of skill set in my history, so I have to lean on Larissa to take in the feedback and come up with a plan.
I think we need to do these things because of Brother Ray. And
Me too.
Okay,
so this has been something, I've been away for a while, but I've come down.
and we don't want people in here raging, but let's be honest. If a person can't find a house, they're not gonna come here with smiles and sunshine, right? They're going to look at us for help, right?
But we
So
want to
we don't want them to vent, but at the same time, we don't want to suppress all of their emotions. So I think, to your point, coming up with a way that we can maybe coach and counsel before we bring them in, I think that's more than appropriate. That's.
And we have a committee here and be able to voice their opinions and give their feedback and their good experience.
They're not gonna know to come here to vent about water council.
And they need that.
Don't have to know.
So- And that's where Larissa is a lot of the times too. She's at the courthouse because of the eviction stuff, and two of her tag team. So, I don't want to dismiss what you're saying, but I need to lean on Larissa to really answer to make the suggestion of how to better ensure that we don't lose our meetings because of that. Another thing, which I hadn't talked to Wib about, but it came up to me is, we also need to talk about making sure that when CAT members appear from the council meetings or whatever, that we're not paying attention. Right? Because sometimes when we go into these sessions, we're very, very focused on, darn it, we've done the homework, we know what can and can't be done. But we also can get into a venting, raging kind of mindset as well. So we all need to be cognizant of that, we all need to be careful. But, yeah, definitely. And the community outreach is only supposed to take the first 10 minutes. That's it. So it's not like, you know, they have the whole meeting. Once that 10 minutes up is, okay, thank you. I know. When I get raging, it's hard for me to be quiet too. That's the end. Okay, and then, because we're down to the last, I think, 6 minutes. Communications team and Rebecca is gonna take, leadership on that one. And that's basically just making sure that all the minutes go out on time, all the agendas go out on time. As you can tell, if you depend on me, they won't get out on time. But she's gonna help Larissa and I with that. And we're also going to have a website, an official website. We've got a volunteer in the group that thinks they might want to help us on that. And we're talking about being more social. I don't mean having parties. I mean Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. Come in here, we take a picture of your TikTok. You're gonna be up on social, unless you say don't. But we're gonna try to do more social stuff, just to get the word out more, so more people can see what we're doing. Okay, next, and data records. We're gonna start keeping data records. So if you can go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Data records. One of the things that came out of our discussions with everybody is concern that we don't keep track of our positions on topics. And we don't keep track of whether or not city council does what we ask them to do. That sounds very, 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 you know, but to be honest with you, we do the candidate forums, we come in here, we hear the candidates make promises to CAHT. CAHT needs to start understanding what not what the promises are being fulfilled. And the only way we can do that is to start tracking. So we have a data and records team. If anybody is interested in being a part of that team, learning about data analysis, data collection, please sign up. Becky Winders has already agreed to be on that team. Not that she's team lead, but she's on that team. We're looking for some more team members, but basically this was my first shot at an Excel spreadsheet that will be going out to all of our teams and all of the meetings and all of the supporters. We will only be talking about the red items when we come into these sessions, unless something urgent comes up. Red means that it's something that we've got to take care of right away. Yellow means we've got a little bit of time. And as you can see, there's no green up here, but green means that everything is good to go. And if you have any concerns or questions, or if you're working on a project, even more importantly, if you're currently working on a project, please send me an email, Larissa and I email, so we can start adding it to the spreadsheet, so that we can start working with you and whoever else is volunteering to track what is going on with the activity. Yes, sir. Yes.
And then nobody get back with me, no bill. So I'm trying to find out when I'm here to get it out. I called there, they saying that they didn't see my application. I was trying to get it.
This is for Habitat. The Habitat lady is right here. Please see her. Please see her afterwards. See how that works? When you show up for meetings, miracles happen. Okay, next slide. All right, so some of the things that we weren't able to make changes on, but we just want to talk about them with you anyway. As I mentioned earlier, people were concerned about whether or not these are good meeting times. We got feedback from some of the council members that this is not a good time for them. They'd like to start participating with us. We discussed it as a group in the coordinating committee, and the decision was, we're gonna stick with our current meeting times and our current meeting dates. We're gonna try to find other ways to get people here. We're gonna try to encourage the city council members by giving them more of an early heads up on topics so that they can participate with us when they feel it's necessary. So we're not changing any meeting dates or times. Please look at your agenda because it tells you what's coming up in May, okay? In addition, on the agendas, you'll start to notice that there's also additional announcements, additional activities that require, or we would like to ask your participation in. Please make note of those in your emails. You always have links to that as well. On the 27th, if you can go to the next slide. We're gonna have a tech tools workshop for everybody. We're going to do it via Zoom, and Rebecca is going to be the person that leads us through that. We're going to teach everybody how to get into the CAHT Google Drive, how to work with CAHT Google Docs, and also Zoom. Zoom has a lot of tools that we're currently not using. We're gonna talk through and walk through how to use Zoom a little bit more effectively. Okay, so if you want to learn some new skills, come to that session. Anne's gonna see, we think we might be able to get somebody from Google to be also there as part of the training on this. So if we're able to get someone from Google, you definitely want to be there because they will tell all the students how to use these tools that we're trying. We talked about how to keep our leadership accountable, but again, we have to stay on top of the decisions that are coming out. We have to be the ones to say, you know what, you told us this, and you did something else. We have to be the ones as a collective to lean on our knowledge and our data around the issues as we present them. Yes, sir.
Unless I'm mistaken, this slide says 10 a.m. and I think the one that we just saw said 11.
I'm sorry, yes, I made this slide before Ann made that change. Yes, this is 11 o'clock, 11:12. And also, we're looking at trying to also set up, possibly if Webb is willing, a training session on how to present to council, city council. What's the most effective way to present your cases to council? And then we're also, I might as well put it all out on the table. Anthony Scott has offered to open up tours of some of the new buildings that are going up and CAHT supported. So we want to go as a collective and look at some of the new affordable housing units that are in. He has said that he would definitely support that. We can take meetings on that. We've also gotten feedback. People want 2 additional forums like we had last fall. We're looking at having those on Saturdays. And we're still working through dates and master calendar for this group so that we can schedule that in. And if you enjoyed the last forum and you would like to learn how to pull those together, please let us know because that is another thing that requires some work. And then somebody came up with an incredible idea. I don't know how you guys will feel about it, but we would like you to be an affordable housing hunter for a day. And write down in your diary how successful you were in finding affordable housing in different income levels. So in Durham. So that, those are some of the things that we're talking about doing to try to help enrich what's happening here and to also make it so that when you go and speak to others, you can say, yes, I understand this issue fully. And this is why we need to support what CAHT is doing.
Where would you suggest they go and look at it?
I'm not gonna share that with you.
I already know where, I'm just, we're when people do it on their own.
No, it's gonna be, did you ever do the Pokemon kind of stuff where?
I don't
The first
think that I'm
issue-
not real, I've watched my kids and grandkids, no.
It's, cause it'll be affordable housing and transit, cause we're gonna include transit and crawl. So basically you go to one spot, you have some information, there's gonna be a person there ready to accept you, they're gonna tell you yes or no. Based on that, you go to the next spot, the next spot. Okay. It's all for fun. It's not a test, but it's for you to actually feel what it's like trying to find affordable housing and transit inside of it. For those of us that routinely talk about this, we want to make sure that we all understand. And some of you say, I already understand it, but it's not a required activity. This is something we don't have to do. Okay? And with that, we're at the end. So if you could show the last slide. In the email that went out, this is how you can contact Larissa and myself. I'm easier to get if you text message me versus on the phone. I'm a text message baby, so I answer those more quickly than I do actual phone. But please reach out and talk to us. If you heard something today that you don't like, please, if you don't voice it here today, please let me know and the rest of us so that we can take in that feedback and make adjustments accordingly. So, okay, based upon what we talked about today, how are you guys feeling? Are you upset? Are you okay? Are you excited? I don't know, everybody kind of, yes. About what?
Program.
Uh-huh,
Funding,
okay,
I was, community empowerment,
uh-huh,
and I wanted to fill out an application, but they said that they have the department right up here by Westcombe. And but I wanted to use it $1,000. I was wondering if you could do it like that.
Larissa,
Yeah, let me, have you connected back with people and stuff. I call it maybe a hundred.
The new one, they just took them off.
Brian, it's called Brian Place.
They just finishing up.
It's called Brian Place. It's out by Durham Regional.
Yeah, oh, I don't know about that one. It's constant, it's small, not very small. But it, yeah, it is good to apply to CASA because they can quite a bit of work.
So I need to go to the community empowerment to find out that they.
Should know.
They didn't know.
Okay.
well, why don't we get you some help after the session, okay?
Yeah.
Cause just for clarity, we're grateful that you showed up today. We're thankful that you showed up today. These type of very specific requests, we're happy to help you with, but we just have to wait until we're done with the session so that we can really understand what it is you're trying to do and give you the help that you need, okay? But thank you for coming today. See, lived experience, right? It's having some problems, okay?
And things I go unsafe will help.
Yes, our website, if we design it properly, it'll be able to do exactly that, okay? All right. I did not see anybody highly disturbed by what I said, so we're gonna march forward. Is that okay? Oh, I got clap, thank you. Larissa and I got clap. Okay, you all got a clap, okay. All right, so with that, we're going to start wrapping up now. Again, don't leave without getting some cake, okay? 'Cause I really don't want to take the cake home. All right, so I think we had a couple of announcements. I think Jim Savaro was gonna give us an update on, was it the low income housing program, the rental or something?
We have been, and you received as part of notice for this meeting. As part of the notice for this meeting, you received a copy of a new flyer, an updated flyer that has been distributed. We have 10, 11 groups that are helping to spread it among their members. We ask all of you to share it with anyone you think who might benefit from a grant that would cover from 60% in the lowest income group to 40% of their tax bill, last year's tax bill. This is the first year that the deadline has been extended, and it's been extended until June 1st. And so we've got 5-6 weeks to get the word out and encourage people who might benefit from the program. Now, we're up about 100 on applications this year compared with last, and up about 70 on approved applications. But there are more people that still need to get the word. I just last week got a flyer that the Department of Social Services had prepared. I've never seen one. And I have highlighted here the question marks that are not answered on this flyer. So it says, we provide tax help. What kind of tax help? We have a 3-tier income model. What is that model? What are the income levels? What does it mean to have having 80% of AMI? And then also, they said that the deadlines the deadline's been extended, but they don't give a date. So all of this information is in ours. If anybody wants one of these to post, and then post a copy of our form underneath it, because it covers all of that crucial information. But people need to apply by June 1st, and it's not be a good idea to wait until the last minute, because if they got overwhelmed and couldn't get all of the applications processed by the end of June, then it could not be applied. It could not be approved. And we will look at the program then again next year, and try to continue our promotional effort. So I've got a few copies of the form if you need one, and I have more of these as well. I'll tell you, I'll go back to the back and I'll give them to anybody who wants those. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Jim. On the agendas that went out to you, on the second page, there was an event that's coming up on the 17th, which is 2 days from now. NCCU is going to be talking about the issue, I believe it's called putting ACT in action. They're going to be looking at, Stella Adams, I believe, is involved with that one. They're going to be looking at the issue of, I think, to some levels, race as it relates to housing in Durham. So if you would like to participate, that is going to be at the NCCU Law School. You got a link in your email. Please feel free to register. Additionally, in May, there are going to be I'm sorry, yes?
Sorry, that event you just mentioned at NCCU,
Yes.
the speaker, Leah Rothstein,
Okay.
that's the daughter of Richard Rothstein, who wrote the Common Law. They co-wrote a new book called Just Action, and this is part of his book tour. And Stella is the keynote speaker to open the lecture from Leah Rothstein. And it is about it's Fair Housing Month.
Thank you for that feedback. Thank you.
And you do need to register, you need to RSVP, it's free, but they're trying to get a head count, I think, for their event.
Thank you, guys.
You would have to, you'll have to get it online.
Yeah. If we have any problems, I'll try to help. Second is that, Mayor Leonardo Williams had his State of the City address. Hopefully some of you, were able to attend. I was not able to attend. My understanding is that he has affordable housing as one of his top priorities going forward for the city. So, we should be able to have some of that for the activities that we might want to do. May is a month where city budget is going to be finalized. If you, in the agenda also, there are dates for a link of where the May budget meetings are going to be held. We have 3 priorities as CAHT for that budget session: small area planning, continuation of free fares, and lead remediation in the parks. So if you can please go to any of those budgets and reiterate those 3 messages, that would be great. And then, I believe there was also one other announcement on there. There's a survey that has to do with transit. Please look at that link. It's a real quick survey. It takes less than 2 minutes to do. Please participate in that. And next month, hopefully we'll hear about 505. Hopefully we'll hear what our fees were on 505. I know Jay's been asking questions, probably with us too, and they're not easy to find. So hopefully we can have.
Give people a short little explanation of what 505 is what we want.
Could I just add one comment? about
Can y'all turn that back on?
budget? But in your policy committee meeting,
Yeah,
which
it's
will
not on.
be, at the 5th.
Jim is not on up there.
Your voices, which carries. Just for the people on the, oh,
Yeah. Is it working now?
Is it orange?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, all right.
Okay. The policy committee meeting is gonna be on the last Tuesday, on the 30th, rather than next Tuesday. We will be discussing additional budget items that we will recommend to the coordinating committee, which will be meeting the following week. And we need to not only show up at those hearings, but communicate with council members and the managers well before those hearings are held. So I encourage you to take part in that discussion.
Thanks. 505, thank you, Lisa, refers to the street address of the old police headquarters of West Chapel Hill Street, across from Duke Memorial, across from North Carolina Mutual. It's 505 of Chapel Hill Street. So when you hear 505, it's referring to the city. It's right now, the city's gonna try to find a private partner to redevelop. The idea is what kind of redevelopment will go there. And of course, we're very concerned about affordable housing, working with a great group of folks that includes their committee and others. So that's like it.
thanks, William, thanks, Jim. Also, John already left, but I wanted to let you know, John is kind of our transit, well, not kind of, he is our transit person in this group. He's offered to mentor another team that focuses on around transit, with the focus primarily on what changes, if anything, are being proposed for 147, what changes, if anything, are being proposed for Fayetteville Street Corridor, what changes, if anything, are being proposed for US 90 and I think it's 70. Okay, so if you're interested in those types of transit issues, please let John know so that you can, okay, we'll take your name.
Hi, y'all. I'm Gregory Williams. I'm the campaign, excuse me. Sure. Hi, y'all.
Hey,
It's just for online.
Okay. I'm Gregory Williams. I work with John Talmadge over at Bike Durham. I'm the advocacy campaign organizer. Since John had to get out of here, I'm going to be headed back to the same office. So if you would like to work with him on that, please let me know. I'll take your info.
Thank you. All right, with that, are there any other announcements from the group here today? Any other announcements?
If you didn't sign in, we need your information.
Yes, if you did sign in, we need your information. If you want to join up for a team, please send emails to myself and to Larissa. And let's all give ourselves a hand. We're starting now. And with that, it's time for cake. Thank you, everybody.
We know who you are. You know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see you. Oh, I feel much better. Yes, we have. And I had a very, very bad. You need me to. Yes. You need me to help. Stuff.
Did you sign in?
I do. That's why I don't have a mask on. Yeah. And sure enough, I went to a party.
One time.
And I. Yeah. Yes. Yes. This pretty lady. Over there.
Thank you.
It was made back in July. And I think it was very. What, yeah, in terms of variance. Yeah, well, good. I'll see you then.
How are you, my friend?
You.
Good seeing you again.
Nice seeing you. Glad you're here.
Thank you, mutually. I was with Linda Hubbard Friday or Saturday, I think, and I mentioned your connection with Carolina, and she said, well, I wasn't aware of that.
My connection with what?
You talking about the Carolina connection?
Yeah. Well, I worked in Carolina for, for a while.
Just for a while. What did you do?
I was the head nurse of the pediatric ICU.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, well, Linda was expressing a long time ago. Okay, I was thinking of something more recent, so I was wrong because Linda was expressing surprise and she didn't know about
She didn't know
that. Right, but it just so happens that I was coincidentally right, the old joke about, not joke, but quip about a broken clock being right twice a day.
Exactly.